Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global Communication 1. This is the makeup class for Easter, spring 2025. Today, I'll just be talking about the midterm exam, as well as giving a quick review of all the material that we've covered so far in the course. By the end of this lecture, you should have a very good idea of what we have covered so far this term from the textbook and different assignments. And you should also have a very clear idea of what is going to happen when you come to class next week and write the midterm exam. Okay, so let's get started. Here we go. All right, so if we go back to the beginning of term, we looked at Unit 1, and there was an article called Small Talk, a Big Deal. We read through that. We also did some vocabulary and comprehension exercises. You can check that in the book. The writing skill there was organizing and developing a paragraph. So I talked to everyone about how to organize a paragraph. If you are just writing a single paragraph, then you need to have a topic sentence, and that topic sentence is the main idea of the paragraph. It should be at the very beginning of the paragraph, and it should clearly tell the reader what you are going to talk about. After reading that topic sentence, there should be no confusion about what the main idea of the paragraph is. And all of the sentences should be related in some way to that topic sentence. Think of the topic sentence as like an anchor. It is the basis on which you write the rest of your paragraph. Your supporting sentences could include supporting ideas, details, and examples. If you are just writing a single stand-alone paragraph, it's also common to include a concluding sentence. And a concluding sentence comes at the very end of the paragraph. And it usually restates the main idea of the paragraph, but just in slightly different words. There are a few different model paragraphs if you would like to take a look at them in the textbook. For example, how to annoy your coworkers on page 19, making new friends on page 20, fixing a negative impression on page 21. And they all have very good examples of this structure. I also did a PPT presentation where I not only talked about how to organize a paragraph, but I talked about essay structure as well. And everything that you learned in organizing and developing a paragraph also can be used when you write an essay. It's just a larger format. Instead of a topic sentence, you have a thesis statement. And a thesis statement is the main idea of the essay. So keep that in mind. What is the difference between a topic sentence and a thesis statement? A topic sentence is the main idea of a single paragraph, whereas the thesis statement is the main idea of a larger piece of writing, like an essay. And then in an essay, you would have body paragraphs, and each body paragraph has its own topic sentence, which is a supporting idea of the thesis statement, and examples and details to support that supporting idea. Okay, we also looked at life in high school. I hope you enjoyed that activity. And we also had a day where we just got to know each other and had some conversation practice. After that, we moved on to Unit 3, and we looked at driverless cars, AI, and the influence of technology on the future job market, how it can also change human relationships, some interesting discussions there. The article that we looked at, this was on page 57 and 58. That was Cars That Think. We also did some vocabulary and comprehension exercises on page 58, 59, and 60. For the writing skill, this was on page 72. This was the summary and personal response. Now, as you recall, I gave you an in-class summary writing assignment. Well, there's a similar summary question on the midterm exam. Don't worry, I will try to keep the article relatively short because I understand how much time it can take to write a summary. So I will try to choose a shorter article in the book. And also how to write a personal response. You might remember in one of my PowerPoints, I gave several examples from the personal response on page 72 of language that you can use, expressions you can use, the beginnings of sentences that you can use when writing a summary, or not a summary, sorry, a personal response. When you write a personal response, it's very important that you talk about the ideas in the article, give your general impression, whether you agreed with the ideas or disagreed with them. Was there anything surprising? Was there anything that you want to make a comment on? That's what we're looking for in a personal response. It is your own reaction, I guess, if you're thinking of YouTube reaction videos. It's your reaction to the article, but it does have to be structured. Okay, so when you write your personal response, it's a good idea to start with your general overall impression. That's going to be your first sentence, and then after that, you give me more specific examples. Okay. After that, in Unit 4, we moved on to advertising. We looked at the article In Defense of Advertising. There were also some vocabulary and comprehension exercises we did in the textbook. And we looked at writing an opinion essay. The writing model for that was, I think television commercials are great. And that was on page 97, 98. We also looked at a number of different commercials in class, and you got to examine what makes a commercial effective. Is it the music? Is it the story that is told in the commercial? Is it a well-chosen celebrity endorser? When do you decide to show the product? Do you show the product at the beginning, the middle, or the end of the commercial? Do you show it throughout the commercial? There are many different factors that go into making an effective commercial. In Unit 6, this is the last unit that we looked at before the midterm exam. We looked at problem solvers, and this gave us 5 different types of problem-solving personalities: the questioners, ideators, diggers, doers, and reasoners. We also looked at some vocabulary and comprehension exercises on page 142, 143, and 145. We also looked at how to write an analysis essay. An analysis essay is a piece of writing that looks at an issue and breaks it down into smaller parts and looks at reasons that can explain something. So a lot of the examples that we looked at in class were related to people. For example, why do people lie? Or why do some people not help strangers who need help? Or a number of other things. Why do some people believe the earth is flat? Things like that. But analysis essays can take a look at pretty much anything, as long as it is going to break the issue down into smaller, easy to understand chunks and then explain something. If you've ever learned about essay writing in high school and you had to write something like, there are 3 reasons why, that's analysis writing right there. So you're taking a look at a situation and you're going to give 3 reasons why something happens. Now, when you write an analysis essay, you're not writing your opinion. Let's say, for example, why do people tell lies? Okay, there are 3 reasons why people generally tell lies. Maybe it's to avoid getting in trouble, or it's to avoid hurting someone else's feelings, or maybe it's to get some kind of personal gain. Okay, those are 3 reasons why people might tell a lie. If I wanted to write an analysis essay about why people tell lies, I would start off in the introduction by giving a short attention getter. I would say something about how it's very common for people to lie. Or I might ask the reader, have you told a lie lately? Was it a serious lie or just a white lie? Something like that to get the reader's interest. Or I might give a statistic, some kind of anecdote, something to get the reader interested. And then I would go to my thesis statement, which is everybody lies at some point in their lives, usually multiple times in a year, at least. And there are 3 reasons why people often choose not to tell the truth. And then I would go to my first body paragraph, and I would have a topic sentence. First, people will often lie to avoid getting in trouble. Have a couple of examples and details for that. Next body paragraph. Next, people will often lie to avoid hurting someone's feelings, and then give some examples and details for that. And then go on to the third paragraph. I might say some people will tell lies to get some kind of personal gain. Give a couple of examples and details for that. And then I would go to my conclusion, where I would repeat the thesis statement in slightly different words, summarize my supporting ideas, and then offer a final thought. In the textbook, we get a couple of different analysis essays. The writing models here are my mother, myself, where the person says that they are very similar to their mother, and they give 3 characteristics that they share with their mother, and they examine them one by one in different body paragraphs. And then there's being a digger, where the person says that they are clearly a digger, meaning that is their type of problem-solving style. And then we get 3 body paragraphs where the person looks at characteristics of a digger, and we get examples from that person's life that show that they are clearly exhibiting those digger characteristics. And then in the conclusion, the writer restates their opinion, summarizes the supporting ideas, and offers a final thought. All right, so now let's talk about the midterm exam that you're going to be writing next Thursday. So I like to start off the midterm exam with something simple. Don't want students to get stressed out, so I'll give you something easy. I'll let you get your toes wet in the pool before you jump in. So section 1, it's only worth 2 points, and it'll be 4 questions. Each question is half a point. I will give you 4 sentences. Each sentence has a blank. There will be a box with vocabulary that I've taken from the articles that we've read in units 1, 3, 4, and 6, and you choose the correct word and you fill in the blank with those words. The words are the highlighted pieces of vocabulary from the articles that we've read. So for example, I have here in my hand, not sure if you can see it very well, the article from chapter 1, which is Small Talk, a Big Deal. In this case, there are certain words that are highlighted in bold. Strangers, lead to, impress, effective, demonstrate, select, offensive, maintain, appreciate, confidence. These words we took a look at in the vocabulary exercise B, right? I will take some of the words from that article, also the article in Unit 3 about driverless cars, the article in Unit 4 in defensive advertising, and the article in Unit 6, problem solvers, which one are you? And I'll put some of those words in a little box. And then you just take the correct word, fill in the blank in the sentence with the correct word. That's it. Super easy. 4 questions, half a point each, 2 points total. Section 2. Now you have to write a full sentence. And now I will give you a different box. This box will also have vocabulary items from the essays or the articles that we've read in units 1, 3, 4, and 6. And I would like you to make a sample sentence or 2 related. Oh, did I misspell related here? Hold on, let me just go back here. Okay, so now we're back. So yeah, you'll choose 2 vocabulary items taken from the articles that we've read. You'll write a sample sentence or 2 related sentences for each. The sentence should include the word and clearly show the meaning. Do not write a definition of the word. I want you to use the word in some kind of context. Now, I said a sample sentence or 2 related sentences because you might find it hard to clearly show the meaning of the word in a single sentence. So if you want to write 2 sentences and one of the sentences has the word and it clearly shows what the word means in the next sentence, if you need to do that, that's okay. Or if you can write a sentence that clearly shows the meaning of the word in one sentence, that's great too. And that's actually what I do prefer. Now, you might want to know how you can show the meaning of a word in a sentence. Let's take a look at 3 strategies for putting meaning into a sentence. Okay. Click. Here we go. You could include a short definition. His emaciation or skeleton-like appearance was frightening to see. Now, in this case, if you don't know the word emaciation, you can guess the meaning from the short definition, skeleton-like appearance. His emaciation or skeleton-like appearance was frightening to see. From this, I can clearly see from the short definition that emaciation means skeleton-like appearance. Do not just write a definition of the word. Include maybe a short definition, like this, like the example. Or you could restate the word as in a synonym form, like the test was very arduous. It was so difficult that many students cried. Okay, so what does the word arduous mean? Arduous means very difficult. I've restated the meaning here using a synonym, a word that has a similar meaning. So arduous, so difficult. Or what you could do is actually describe the opposite of the meaning in another part of the sentence. Instead of worsening, life in many developing countries is actually getting better. In this sentence, you can easily see that the word worsening is the opposite of getting better, because I start with instead of. These are 3 ways that you can show meaning of a word from context in a sentence. Include a short definition, restate with a synonym, or include the opposite meaning in another part of the sentence. All 3 of these are great. And this is what I hope to see in part 2, in section 2, when you choose 3 different words, and each word that you choose, I want you to show me that you understand what it means. So make sure you review the vocabulary from the articles in the textbook. The highlighted words in the textbook. Okay, next up, section 3. I promised you a summary and personal response, so here it is. Section 3, this is worth 5 points. I want you to summarize an article from the textbook. Please don't bring your textbook to class, or if you do bring your textbook, during the test, I want you to put it away. I will give you a photocopy. I want to make sure that students don't try to guess what article I will give them and try to make notes. So instead of that, I will give students photocopies of the article. I will give you a photocopy. Use my photocopy when you do the summary. Now, I will try to choose a relatively short article because I do know that students only have 75 minutes to do the whole test. And I don't want students to spend so much time reading that they get stressed out and they don't have time to finish the rest of the exam. So I'll try and choose one of the shorter articles, something that would be relatively easy to summarize. Remember, paraphrase, don't quote or copy, don't include your opinion. The first sentence should clearly state the main idea of the article, and then after that, the supporting ideas, some general examples, but you don't need to give statistics, you don't need to give names or other minor details, exact numbers and things like that. You don't need to do that in summary. And I'll be checking to see if you do. All right, remember, 1 or 2 sentences per paragraph. If it's a long paragraph, sure, write 2 sentences. But if it's a relatively short paragraph, if you can summarize it with just 1 sentence, that's all that you need. You be the judge. Okay, section 4. I'm going to give you a choice here. You've got an option 1 and option 2. So option number 1, you can write a personal response to the article. So I tell you to read an article, you read the article, and you write a summary. And now you could do a personal response, a single paragraph personal response. Mention specific ideas that you agreed or disagreed with. Give your general impression, beginning, of course. If you want some ideas for how you can write a personal response, you can take a look at the example on page 72. You could also review the PPT from the class where I talk about doing a personal response. And I've got the language examples there in the PPT as well. Or if you didn't find the article that interesting, or you'd rather write a short opinion essay, then what you can do is I will give you a list of topics, and you can choose from a list of topics and then write a short opinion essay. I will tell you how many sentences, probably something like, 2 or 3 sentences for the introduction, I don't know, 5 sentences or something for each paragraph, and then a 2-sentence conclusion, something like that. As long as you include the thesis statement in the intro, you have 3 supporting ideas and a short conclusion, that's fine. Remember, all you're doing is telling me your opinion. What do you think and why? And it'll be on some topic that I give you. You can choose from a list of topics. That's 5 points. Now we're on to section 5. Oh, does this say 4 points? Hold on, that should actually be changed to 5 points. Just a moment. Oh, okay, there we go. Fix that mistake. So section 5, this is 5 points. I will give you a list of topics. I want you to choose from that list of topics and then write a short analysis essay. So it might be a good idea to review the models on pages 150 and 152. I don't want it to be very long. So, for example, when I look at My Mother, Myself, I think this is actually a little bit long for students. I will not expect you to write an analysis essay in great detail. I will give a guide for how many sentences I want in each paragraph, but I will not expect too many. Once again, when I decide how many sentences I want in the analysis essay, I am carefully thinking, how much work can I expect students to do in 75 minutes? Students have to fill in the blanks in section 1, write 3 sentences in section 2. They have to write a summary in part 3, a personal response or short opinion essay in part 4, and then a short analysis essay in section 5. I will think carefully about how many sentences I expect students to do within a 75-minute period. And I know that different students have different levels of English. I take that into account, and I don't want students to feel it's unfair. So I will think carefully about how much writing I expect. The quality is much more important than the quantity. All right, so I will let you choose from a list of topics. You write a short analysis essay. Take a look at the examples again on pages 150 to 152. Remember, this is a big one. Your supporting ideas should be distinct. One of the biggest weaknesses that people have when they compile lists of reasons why something happens or reasons why people do something is they'll have two supporting ideas that are so closely related, they might as well be one. And that is something that I will be looking at when I mark your midterm exam. So please make sure your ideas are distinct. I'm looking to see if you can clearly distinguish three separate supporting ideas with an example or detail for each. All right, so that's just about that. So if we got 2 points for section 1, 3 points for section 2, that's 5 points. And then 5 points for sections 3, 4, and 5. That gives us a total of 20 points. Now, if you take a look on the syllabus for the course, it does state that the midterm exam should have 25 points. I don't know how many students have checked the syllabus and noticed that, but I will be talking about that in just a second. So before I talk about that, please remember the midterm exam will be on Cyber Campus. So please bring a laptop or tablet to class. If you can't bring a laptop or a tablet, please let me know, and I will be happy to provide a paper copy of the test. Or if you just like writing by hand rather than writing on a keyboard, that's perfectly fine. I'll be happy to give you a paper test. Just let me know. But now, okay, as for the change from the syllabus, yeah, the original plan for the midterm when I was making the syllabus earlier this year, I wanted to include a 5-point speaking test that we would do before the midterm exam. And the speaking test is usually quite simple. But we didn't have time for that before the midterm because of the makeup class that I'm doing now on Easter. So I decided rather than have a 5-point speaking test, I'm just going to include those points, the 5 points from the speaking test. I'm going to take those out and replace it with a homework writing assignment later in the course. So maybe 2 weeks or so after the midterm exam, I will give you a short writing assignment. It might be a narrative essay. And I would like you to complete the writing assignment and then upload it to Cyber Campus. And those 5 points will make up for the 5 points of the speaking test that we didn't do for the midterm. And the speaking assessment for the course, that will be included as part of your presentation score before the final exam. We do have group presentations before the final exam. Actually, the last 2 classes I set aside for presentations, and that will be where I will assess your speaking according to certain criteria. More information will be coming up probably in late May regarding that. Okay, so I think I've talked for long enough here. This should be all that you need to know. So I will finish today's lecture just by saying good luck on the midterm exam. And remember this, you really do know a lot. So don't worry too much. I think you will find the exam fair. Some parts might seem a little difficult, but it will be a fair test of your abilities. And I am supremely confident in your ability to complete it successfully. So I'll see you next week. And until then, enjoy the Easter weekend, and I'll see you next week.